Oh, happy weekend, everybody. Or should I say, not so happy weekend, depending on how you looked on that yesterday. There's loads breaking with Manchester United. This is Adam Matic TV. I'm joined by the guys again, Saeed and Doug. Saeed, first of all, mate. I've just I'm going to tell you all the story, actually. So everyone knows I was at the game yesterday. And I'm thinking, right, this is a lonely drive back home tonight and the deep depression of how that game finished at Villa Park yesterday. And then my phone rings. 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, who's ringing me this time? Saeed's out for a walk just to get over it.
Yeah, there you go.
So he thought, I'll just give Adam a ring. He must be on the road on the way back. So
yeah,
we had our little conflab at 11 o'clock at night while Saeed was walking the streets of Manchester sulking.
That a boy, Saeed. That a boy.
I was, man, because I remember I didn't step foot in the house. I was watching a City game and then I had family over. And then after that, straight to the 4:30 kickoff, and then obviously I was doing everything, etc., and then it got to about 10 o'clock, and then all my little brothers were like, "Yeah, we're watching Match of the Day." I said, "No, I'm not watching that." So you know what? I thought perfect excuse then to go for a walk. So I went for a walk, and then by the time Match of the Day finished, I was back. But yeah, I just need to clear my head because man, 2-2, man, bottled a 2-0 lead. You know what I mean? Just shows you where we're at the minute. We can't even keep a lead. You know,
well, this is it. I mean, we are in a place where no United fan wants us to be, but I think the main thing is, Doug Pal, it's and I don't know if you can look at this a good way. You can look at this a bad way, but I think reality has hit all United fans, and no one is sort of in a position where, oh no, you're wrong, you're saying this wrong. There's not as much disagreement on where the club is at the moment. I think we've all come to terms with where we're actually at, and that's probably why it's hurting more, mate, because we ain't got an excuse, we ain't got an argument with anyone, have we? Because the acceptance is really hitting home.
Yeah, I like we talked about last week. It was like new day, same shit type scenario here, and it just I don't know how long this has been going on for, and maybe Solskjaer was just sort of like really covering up a lot of things, because it just seems like since Ragnick's come in, things have just progressively gotten worse and worse and worse. And now you've got all of the, the leaks coming out, and you've got the Martial stuff that happened last night / this morning. The team dynamics are piss poor right now. So there's not much to really hold on to. Yeah. And I can understand why Saeed's out there walking around trying to find a meaning for life. There's not a lot to hold on to right now.
Oh, so. Right. I think Doug just condemned it there. He's walking around trying to find a meaning for life. It's like, oh, God. Quick shout out to my man Alien Tenno, whose birthday it is today. Long suffering subscriber to my channel, has supported me all the way along. Alien, I know it's not been an easy few weeks for you, mate, but hopefully you can have a very good birthday. Forget about the Reds for today, mate, yeah? Just enjoy yourself and have a few beers on us, mate. And obviously modify the live stream before you go and get too blooded, mate, because I know what you like, pal. Mate, top fella. Flex, how are you doing, mate? Hope you're well, pal. Well, after yesterday. We'll get into that in a second. But Saeed, first of all, mate, bigger problems afoot. Saeed said... Doug said then, mate, that we're struggling. We're looking for anything to cling on to. It goes deep. The problems are deep at this football club right now. One problem that has sprung up from yesterday's result, and we thought the result was bad enough on its own, but then Rangnick comes out and says one thing, Martial comes back on his socials and says another. There is a crossroads here, mate, and ultimately a big problem that you would say has to be sorted in January now, doesn't it? Martial saying he was available. He would never let the fans down and may declare himself unavailable. But the manager, completely different, mate. Now that is the proverbial hitting the fan in my eyes, mate.
It is, man. It's probably I called United like a soap. It's literally, I don't know if you know, we have a famous soap in England, and it's that moment at the end of the soap or the drama, and it ends on that one. And it was like the dun, dun, dun. And that was it when Martial said, I wouldn't ever say I wouldn't play for the football club. It's a messy situation. I've got a lot of things to say about this, and I think the timing of it for me is a bit weird. The manager didn't say it before the game. He said that Ronaldo was available through to his injury, but didn't mention Martial. You know what I mean? Or didn't mention anything to do with that. As soon as the game's over, the question was asked to Rangnick, and then it was revealed. He could have kept that for himself, Rangnick, but he chose to reveal it. Okay, that's one side of the argument. The second side of the argument is obviously Martial has seen it and then has put it on his Instagram story. You know, no statement, nothing like that. Put it on his Instagram story. So everyone else then is kind of looking at Martial thinking, what's your side of the story now? It's probably the worst case scenario for Man United fans. You know, forget anyone else. The Glazers are what they are, but United fans, it's a split now that you don't need. You know, the fans are already split as it is, Adam and Doug. You know, you don't need something else to say, you know, I'm on Rangnick's side, I'm on Martial's side. The real problem at this football club is the owner's inability to sort out transfers, the inability to restructure this football club, the inability to sort out the mess that's at this football club in terms of the balance of the squad. It's over dense. It's too much. You're giving players big wages and you can't sell them. You're giving Dean Henderson 120 grand a week to be second choice keeper. Everyone at that time was like, is that a fair reflection? But you know what? What happens in then is you kind of get on with life because that's how life is. You get on with it. But now they're in a mess. They're haggling with Sevilla over 3 or 4 million. So Sevilla will say we can only afford maybe 2 to 3 million in loan fee. United want 6 or 7 or 8 million loan fee. But you're creating a toxic environment. You, by saying no, for the greater good of Man United Football Club, just take whatever's given you. Okay, not take whatever's given you, but take a reasonable offer because it's only 6 months. You know, it's to the end of the season. He needs to play. He needs to play in the World Cup. Sort out the matter. But what's happened now is Rangnick's in a mess because he's having to deal with what's gone on. Martial wanted to leave in the summer, but then it wasn't allowed. Don wanted to in the summer, only said to stay. So many people want to leave. If they want to leave, Adam and Doug, to the people out there, let them go because it's creating a toxic environment. This result yesterday now, we're having to talk about the Martial incident, when for me, we should be talking about how we bottled the 2-2. But now this is taking over it. And it shouldn't be that. And that's where the football club becomes toxic because everything then becomes anything but football. And that's the problem. We don't want that. We want to focus on football. But now it's becoming a case of, yeah, Dean Henderson wants to leave, but he's got to stay. Donny van der Beek has got to leave, but, you know, we want him to have opportunities. But then you're playing him when you've got 2 minutes to spare. It don't make sense. But is Ralph Rangnick got full control, lads? And that's the question. Has he got full control? What's happening when you got Mike Phelan still there? You've got Darren Fletcher as technical director on the bench, on the touchline, still, you know, being there for some reason. And then you've got John Murtough, who everyone all of a sudden was calling a saint at the start of the season. It's a mess. It really is a mess.
I mean, Doug, mate, Said called it structure there. I mean, to have the wrong football or not, the distinct lack of football people in certain positions at this football club, I think was a big problem because they didn't have a plan in place for when it went wrong or if it went wrong with Ollie. They gave him that contract when he had 1 year left to go. A lot of these problems now are down to when Ollie was in charge, Doug, in terms of the players. Yeah, you can call a style of football. We'll get into the playing, all that side of it in a minute, and Ralph, but these players now that wanted and are causing and kicking up a stink in January are ultimately the ones, like Said said, should have been gone in the summer, mate. So, I mean, if you had a sporting director in, maybe a sporting director could have negotiated a deal and said, look, if this doesn't work out in this time, yeah, Ollie said you're going to get playing time, but when January comes along, you've got this option and that option to leave. You would have put something in place already, but now there's that much going on, mate. You cannot control it. It's just too many problems, like Said said, from all angles, off the pitch, on the pitch, upstairs, money-wise. I mean, social media, leaks from the club. The journalists are having a field day. And I don't know if you guys seen the banner that was unveiled at Villa Park, which has been posted all over social media. I didn't see it because I was right behind it and I couldn't see it, obviously. But rotten from top to bottom. And that's the away fans. And everyone knows, and I posted it out, the away fans were absolutely superb. We were absolutely unbelievable yesterday. We got right behind the team from the first minute till the last. And you know what? The players, they actually played better, I thought. We'll get into that again in a minute. But that banner says everything you need to know, Doug, doesn't it, really? That the problems behind the scene are creeping out all over the pitch. As crazy as that sounds, you can't blame it all on that. There's certain people that need to pull up the sleeves and play well. But ultimately, mate, the bad vibes are coming from mistakes that were made off the pitch, mate, now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we definitely got lucky that Amazon didn't approach us to do the behind the scenes, because it would have been box office. And I mean, it's like...
That'd have killed Coronation Street, mate. That
it's like this weekend. It's like this week in Manchester United drama, followed by clips of last week what happened, and then you get caught up to speed on this week what's going on, and it just seems like it's just like every other drama TV show that's like reality TV, right? Where it's just like, whether the drama's real or not, it's happening, and more like it just seems like football is the last thing that people are focused on. Right? It's like, yes, they go out there and they play, but it's everything else, to your guys' point. It's social media. It's what's going on at training. It's who wants to leave. It's everything else. And then you see all these other clubs that are actual clubs that from top to bottom, as we're saying, have the structure, have the mentality and the mindset to go out and achieve and win and do things. And we're busy, as we know, chasing likes, being in the headlines, all of these other things. So all of this factored in with, like Saeed was saying, and I remember a long time ago talking about this, where it's like, at some point, players are going to stop coming to Manchester United. I know everyone keeps saying, like, Manchester United is still a club that people want to come play for. But I think they're coming for the wrong reasons now. And it's been that way for a while. They're not coming to necessarily play for the badge. It seems like they're coming because they're getting paid more. Yeah. So that's what we're going to keep continuing to go down, is like, let's say there's top talent that it comes down to us, Liverpool, Chelsea, City, whoever, right? And let's say for that specific player, money seems to be the biggest driver. Well, then United's in the driver's seat because we're willing to give ridiculous wages for seemingly not a lot of performance or output on the pitch that's proven. Where Liverpool, City, Chelsea might say, hey, listen, we'll start you on 80 to 100K, but you need to prove yourself to get big contracts, right? And the mentality here is focused on football, focused on winning, focused on development. And United's like, hey, listen, we'll give you 250, no problem. You may or may not get game time. We don't know. Then when you want to leave, we may or may not sell you because we need to look at what's most beneficial for the club. So you're screwed that way. And then wherever you want to go is going to have to look at your wages and go, can we afford that? And because United's already screwed you, they're going to go, no, we can't. So it's just this, it's just such a mess from, yes, everything it seems like off the pitch perspective, that we are setting ourselves up for like 3 to 5 years of failure if things aren't course corrected now. And the one thing I was going to ask the two of you, because obviously you're over there and you're part of the match day going experience, is like, obviously I keep seeing and hearing that, especially watching the games, there is a sense of like trying to stick together within Old Trafford when you're there as a fan, right? And you really don't want to have to go after any specific player or the manager. There really is like a sense of trying to be united. Keyword there is trying, because obviously you're frustrated sitting there watching the shit level of football we've been putting out, but you're at least trying to get them going. But I'm wondering, and it's been talked about, it's like, why isn't anyone going after the Glazers? Why isn't anyone going after Murtaugh? Why did all of these things stop all season? And now we're at this point where it's like everyone, it's like that Spider-Man meme where everyone's standing around pointing a finger at each other, because it's just like no one knows who to put the blame at. Is it Rangnick? Is it the players? Is it the board? Who is it?
I think, yeah.
A big part of it is a big part of it, Saeed's just about to walk out the door.
There you go.
In Mr. Woodward, and the ineptitude of that man and his footballing knowledge of and what he did. And Doug talked about the contracts there, mate. Mate, we can run through a long shopping list of players that this man has brought through the door. And you know what? Never did I think that line would reverberate around for years to come, that Ed Woodward is leaving Manchester United's tour to deal with transfer business.
Yeah.
And David Moyes' first seat. Never did I think that would be such a crucial line or a moment in this club's history, because that pretty much signalled the downfall of this football club and how it was run off the pitch, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. And who did we get that summer? My God.
Marouane Fellaini.
On the last day of the transfer window. You know what I mean? That just epitomizes everything, Adam, what you're just saying there. It epitomizes everything. The PR of this football club. You know what I mean? As soon as someone gets a bad run of form, the PR comes out. You know what I mean? You get, the likes of David Howard and journalists like that coming out with stories for people. And it's like there's a whole monologue of everything at Man United. And it's just like, for me, it's a shield. It's almost like something to hide away from the failures of the football club for so many years. And the point you make there, Doug, why is it, why do we never go for the Glazers? Because there's no tipping point at United. It's always on the edge. Have you noticed United? It's always on the edge, and then they go buy Ronaldo, and then it goes back up again. They go get Varane, it goes back up again. So your emotions, naturally, as a human being, you're like, oh, yeah, get excited. And then it goes back down again. Yeah, go on.
I mean, and I'll give you just from over here side of things, right? It's just like, I can completely understand it's different. It's a different mentality, but me being, as you guys know, a Cleveland Browns fan, we've had to sit through years of misery and getting made fun of by everyone in the NFL for a long time. But I'll say this much, and this happens just across the NFL, so I'm not saying it's specific to Cleveland. But if we are performing badly, or the team, especially when we went 0-15 or 1-15, and then followed it up with an 0-16 season the next year, we legitimately didn't win a single game. The mood and the vibe in the stadium, you can feel the anger. You could legitimately feel it. People are booing. Baker Mayfield, who's our quarterback right now, he was acting like a prima donna all season because he was getting booed in game by our fans because he was playing trash. And so, again, I'm definitely not suggesting that United fans should show up at Old Trafford and just boo everyone all the time. That's not the point. But it's just to say, because these guys don't seemingly pay attention to anything, or they're all about surface detail, if everyone just shows up at Old Trafford all the time and is just happy and singing and back the boys and everything like that, they're just going to continue to sit there and go, guys, they love us. Look at our social media interactions. They're singing songs about Ollie still. I get what you mean. Guys.
I get what you mean. I think, it is. I think it goes down to the fact that, now everything gets magnified now that we're not winning things and certain situations get magnified. I'm looking at Guardiola. Ferran Torres wants to leave. Yeah, out the door, mate. See you later.
Go.
Even if we don't need a striker. He says, get out the door. But we beg people to stay. It's like Jesse Lingard. The door's out there for you. Oh, United. You know what? Take your time with the situation. Oh, it's almost a case of, we're going to let him leave. We're just sorting out the process of him leaving. But that process, Man United want a penny pinch, and that's what they're doing right now.
We're whining and complaining over $5 to $6 million for Zakaria, and meanwhile, I'm saying again, you don't know
what they said.
But you're saying Chelsea may be potentially putting in bids for Frankie de Jong. I understand that he hasn't excelled to his fullest extent at Barcelona, but it's still Frankie de Jong.
Did you hear what they said now today on the United report? They said apparently the scouting system are not convinced about Denis Zakaria. I'm like,
great.
This scouting system needs to be sacked. You're the reason. You got Daniel James because Ryan Giggs told you to buy Daniel James.
Yeah, we our scouting system.
Weren't they not convinced by Bruno too? Weren't they not convinced by Bruno? They were like, we don't go.
Our scouting system brought us Fred. So there you go.
So
say no more. And they collaborated with our board and whoever is in charge of making signings and blew 50 million on the guy as well. Big run in the chat. Don't worry, mate. We're getting to the game itself. We're just covering the player issue and anyone who is joining late. The Martial news broke last night and continued today, and we're dealing with the aggro that's going on off the pitch, which is causing problems on the pitch, we know, because we're out of options in certain areas of our pitch, guys. This is it. I mentioned it today, just then, in terms of Fred. I mean, we'll get on to the game now. But Fred, for me yesterday, the whole midfield, we are trying to carry a complete midfield in this team right now, Saeed, mate. I mean, yesterday, I know Fred got the assist for the goal. Honestly, it was on a plate for him. He couldn't really get that wrong. I think I said he nearly left it too late to actually play the ball to Bruno. In the end, luckily, we got through and we got the goal. But we switched off for 15 minutes big time, and it cost us yesterday, mate. It cost us an awful lot. And you know what? Some of the performances were decent, I thought, yesterday by a few of the players. I thought we created chances, and it was probably one of our better performances. But ultimately, I said it going, mate, and you said it to me in that phone call on the way home, pal, and we both agree on it. The mentality of these players isn't strong enough to handle any adversity on that pitch. It's when something bad happens, we seem to collapse. It's like the England cricket team right now. When we lose one wicket, it just completely falls apart. And this seems to happen to us on the pitch, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got a lot of players who are just weak. A lot of players who they fold under pressure. You know, that situation that when the first goal happened, Fred didn't come across quick enough, and then Varane, didn't get tight enough on the ball. The second one, Dalot, left his man, and he never, failed to anticipate that one. And then obviously Varane couldn't get in quick enough on time to go and get the tap in for, I think it was Coutinho or Ramsey. I think it was one of them two. So end of the day, it's just that for me, one little thing happens and they fold. But it's just not now. It's not just today, though. It's the Liverpool game was a biggest example. Man City game, 1 goal, 2 goals, bang, they're out of the game. Wolves game, 1-0, they're in control of the game. And it's like they're flapping. They don't know what to do. And I'm sorry, I'm guilty of sometimes I was hard on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And for me, when I looked at it, I thought, these players are better than what Solskjaer is managing right now. But then when I've looked at it now and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is out of the equation, okay, his tactics work great and it probably wasn't ever going to succeed at United. But the players, I gave them a lot of leeway because I thought to myself, they're going to get better. They'll be better under a different manager. But they haven't got it up there. And you looked at a game against Man City, against Chelsea. Bernardo Silva lost the ball. And he ran half around the pitch and he got the ball and won it back. But it's just not that. They're doing it in packs. Their mentality. 1-0 Brentford, they hung on. Villa on the same pitch. I think they were 2-1 down, I think it was, or 3-1. I think the game finished 3-2 or something like that.
Yeah, 2-1 down Brentford were, yeah.
Yeah, and they still stayed in the game. Every time when they're under pressure, they manage to see out the game. And United don't do it because at the end of the day, you've got to have that winning mentality. Some of them haven't won anything, guys. And it's a telling reality. When that goal goes in, boom, heads drop. Heads completely drop. I mean, Matic has been at this football club since 2018. Has he won anything?
What? No, is the answer.
No, most of them haven't won anything. Wan-Bissaka, Maguire has been relegated 4 times. All of them, when you look at it, Fred's been here for how many? Hasn't won anything. They've just not won anything. And that's why, for me, a lot of people are looking down on these Carabao Cups, the FA Cups, and they're saying we don't need to win them. But these guys need to win.
the arrogance, mate. It's an arrogance of walking on the pitch in that shirt and thinking you can just overturn play. I mean, we could dissect that. I mean, Doug, for you, mate, the game yesterday in general, just break it down from what you've seen from TV, because obviously I was there and I've seen it from my aspect. I've not spoke to many people because it was late and I've been busy today with family stuff. So, I mean, how did it come across on TV for you yesterday? Did it look like we was in control of the game? Did it look like we weren't really under any pressure? And then all of a sudden, bang, it just went completely wrong?
We definitely looked more controlled, obviously, through the first half and then heading into the second. And we got the second, from Bruno. But, I think between not having the right players right now, and I do think Rangnick made some key substitution errors yesterday, or lack thereof, until late, right? That I think what was crazy to me is he point right stated after the game at the weekend that we gained better control of the midfield when Donny came on, and we controlled the midfield a lot better. Now, I wasn't expecting Donny to start, but you just literally faced them. You got overrun in the midfield then. You put Fred and Matic in, who looked like they were dying out there by the end of the game, and you did nothing to help them. And so that's where I'm looking at yesterday, and I'm going, that was just a huge mistake on his part, which, again, we used to blast Solskjaer for, is he wouldn't make substitutions until the 88th effing minute, and you're like, what are you doing? And the other thing, back to what you guys are talking about the mentality, I'm sorry. Yes, you get to put on a Manchester United kit, and yes, you get ridiculous wages. But if you're not at this level competitive enough to wake up in the morning, and even if you think the mentality is I play for Manchester United, the truth of the matter is if you can't wake up in the morning and look at the table and realize you're 24 points behind City right now,
yeah,
and that doesn't piss you off to where you're showing up at training and you're putting in the work because you're pissed that you're the laughing stock of the league right now. You legitimately are. The whole world is looking at the club like it's a disaster. You blow a lead yesterday when you were 2-0 up with 20 minutes to go and you couldn't hold it. You're 24 points behind your local rival. Like, if you don't have that within you to wake up and go, guys,
it's embarrassing on yourself.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we honestly doing? Then, truthfully, that's never going to change. You know what I mean? That is a mentality thing, and you can't necessarily. You can try to coach that. We have that sports psychologists and stuff like that, but people are people, and it's very hard to change them, right? So, like, I understand Ronaldo in his interview was blasting us because he's got a winner's mentality. He's like, finishing outside top 3 isn't. It's like literally a sin to him. It's like, we should never finish outside the top 3, let alone go this long without winning trophies and things like that. Yeah. But then to Saeed's point, the rest of these guys are probably just happy to be there. They're happy to get their ridiculous wages. They're happy to call themselves Manchester United captain. And so winning is like so far down in their pecking order of things. It's like, we won a game? Cool. Oh, we lost today? Cool. It's like they almost think it's the same thing. Winning, losing, drawing, it's all the same to them.
I will admit, I do think that Ollie was part of that in terms of actually convincing these players that they were doing okay. The holiday camp that he was running did not help. And he's not without blame. He's not all to blame. I mean, for me, I'm going to say this now. Do you know what? In a weird sort of, you could call it, I don't know, vindictive way, whatever you want to say. I'm quite happy that this has happened. I'm quite happy we're dropping this low because I've said all along we have to fall big to get back.
I'm happy if things change, though, because I'm happy if things change because otherwise,
That's why I asked. That's why I asked the question yesterday to a lot of United fans. You know, does Champions League football really mean a lot to you, or does it mean a lot to the club?
I've said no, mate. I've said right now, I will take no European football if it meant, like Doug said, and this is the big meant and if, these pre-Maradonas left in the summer, these issues all left in the summer, because then we've changed the manager. We've been through all of that. That's clearly a problem that's been distinguished because you can't keep blaming the managers. Now the players are not turning up on the pitch. They're struggling when the crowd gets behind the home team. I've seen it. I've been to every single away game. And as soon as the atmosphere bumps up or someone puts in or the crowd gets behind the home team or a little mistake happens, they mentally buckle. They mentally buckle, and you have to be able to handle it. Some of them players can. I'm not saying it's all of them, but when one drops, then two drops, you eventually, over a spell of the game, start to all sort of go, well, why am I even? But I can't keep doing it on my own. I can't keep, and then bang, bang, 2 goals, you've lost your lead. There you go. Eventually, as the game goes on, it's not like they're tired. They're mentally drained. You can see it. Bruno was doing Fred's role yesterday because Fred is useless. They stuck him up further up front because he's less dangerous to us there. He actually causes problems because he doesn't know what he's doing in the opposite half. Fred, in front of that defence, is an absolute liability. And everyone's talking about the assist he got used to. Let's not forget the assist that he got with that flailing little poke, which didn't need to happen in the box for Villa's first goal for Ramsey. Because that was
that's what I was saying. That's what I was talking about.
It. How a centre-back like Mings walks past you like you're not even there, I do not and cannot fathom it, and it does my head in. People, what if Tyrone Mings is walking past you as a central midfielder? You're not fucking good enough. I'll say it now. Simple as. And when you're a defender and you're constantly having to fend off pressure because your midfield isn't good enough to help you out, eventually you will buckle. And that's exactly what we did. It just got too much. And mentally, they are not there. I said in my road trip driving there yesterday, I said, I want to see a performance. I got that. But I did say in the same sentence, and you can all go back to it, I said, I don't think this team is mentally strong enough to take it to that level where we win the game.
Mental strength. You can have, that's the thing, though. I think for me at this minute, United need players that are strong in the mind rather than on their feet. You know, the okay, talent is a gift, and most of these guys are Premier League footballers, you know, at some sort of level or some sort of capacity. But the problem is, though, if you don't have it up there, for me, you know, it doesn't matter whether, regardless if you've got it, you know, on your feet, because if you can't sustain, you know, and sustain pressure and realize that, you know, teams are going to come on to us. Okay, the manager should have made a substitution. Okay, Matic. For me, I'm not sure about that Matic first yellow card, by the way, and that kind of affected his game. But he's meant to be 30.
Yeah, the ref was piss poor yesterday, by the way.
Oh, mate, that was a joke. I thought that was a soft yellow card. But again, I'm not making excuses. But Matic almost was like, he folded under pressure, and I was like, this is Matic we're talking about. And this like, but then the manager didn't take him off. And then after that, what happened then after that was simple mistakes. They ran through our midfield, and it's like, oh my God, the simple things. You know what? If the manager's out there, right, everyone sit back, sit tight, you know, if you have to waste time. Win little free kicks. City do it all the time. Tactical fouling. Fred, pull it down.
People slag Bruno off for the dark arts, but there is a plan behind what Bruno does. Yeah, you could call him a slime ball, but you want that slime ball on your team.
Oh, Herrera used to do it all the time.
Oh, Herrera used to do it.
They were masters. They were masters of that art. Yeah, Bruno is one of them. He is one of them. But
yeah, for me, I mean, about subs though. Sancho came on, and for me,
I'm going to say this great. Actually, Said, mate. I'm going to carry on with you on the sub side of it. Took me right into it there, mate. But I looked at it and I thought, why is Ralph not bringing these subs on? Why is he not bringing them on? Why? We need freshening up. And then I looked at the bench and thought, Donny, January problem. Lingard, January problem. I'm thinking, oh, DL, he's actually got the players he doesn't want on the bench as his only options right now. And it looked like that a little bit, like he just doesn't want to bring them on. I mean, we've seen his stance with Martial. It kind of looked that way, like he didn't want to use them players as like a stance to me, because you could see the midfield was flagging. We needed freshening up, and we needed something there to help us out, even a structure change, a formation change. But talk to me about that, the substitutions, because Doug's touched on it as well, Said, mate. I'll get your opinion on it as well, Doug, in a minute. But you mentioned Sancho then, Said, mate. Concern again, mate, isn't it?
Terrible, mate. Literally, the first time he came on, he had a touch, gave the ball away. I don't know what's up. For me, I can't really slate him. I'll criticize performances, but it's not something that I'm just going to give up on, because I think, 1 year to come in to adapt, you know what I mean, and see where he comes from. But for me, people talk about Rashford's cameo, and I slated Rashford's cameo against, was it Burnley? But I think Sancho was similar at that level, mate, because he came in and he looked lost. He really, really looked lost. It's difficult to come in when the ascendancy is on Aston Villa side. I understand that, but he couldn't keep the basics up, just keeping the ball. Okay, he did a bit of brilliant move at the end to give it, was it Donny van der Beek, the chance?
Yeah. But nice bit of skill.
Nice bit of skill, yeah. But I just think for me, is it a big problem in what we're doing right now? Probably not, but it doesn't look like he's picking up any form. He had that little bit of period under Carrick, you know what I mean? Maybe we need Carrick back, but he had that little bit of period under Carrick.
Carrick is back, mate. Carrick
to help him out, but he had that bit of Carrick moment, the figures Villarreal game and the Chelsea game, and I think one game after that, and then after that, it's just been, I don't know. I just think he's struggling. He really, really is struggling, because he's not very quick, guys, and I've seen it live. He's not quick.
Yeah.
But the problem is, though, everybody is far apart. Cavani is all the way over there, and he hasn't got players to do what he did at Dortmund. 1-2 give and go. 1-2 give and go. Tight spaces. He hasn't got that, man. Man United don't play like that. And Jamie Redknapp, I don't really agree with what Jamie Redknapp says here, but United have always had traditional wingers that beat a man. You're looking at the past Sharp, Beckham, Ronaldo. You go and beat the man, and maybe does he fit what we're trying to do? I don't know, but they are trying. They are trying, and they will try, because if he leaves, that's an indictment. We've chased him for 2 flipping years, but I liked Elanga last night. For me,
we're going to get
the
subs first of all for you, Doug, mate, and then lead us away with Elanga, because I am going to talk about some positives as well from that game. But substitutions for you, was that ultimately? And we weren't in full control in the second half, but we had 2 goals, mate. You should be able to see that out, and managers should see that we are struggling at times and make the changes. Is that not right?
I could. You brought up the fact that maybe Ragnick's looking at his bench, going, "Well, these are all guys that want to leave, so why should I play them?" I get that, but in the moment, you need and want those 3 points, and so anything else, put it aside till after the game.
Yeah.
And I can see where he has a dichotomy in his head of like, well, I don't want to play these guys to send a message.
I'm trying to figure out why I didn't bring them on, mate, because that's what baffled me.
But I want to win.
Yeah.
So what do I do? And then he does a stupid thing that Ollie used to do, which is like the 88th minute, and it's a joke at that point that you bring in Lingard and Donny of all people, like again. And then obviously there was the piss take after that. United's social media put up that it was Donny's 50th appearance, which was an absolute joke that they posted that.
Oh, mate, crazy! What time was that for us in the UK? It was about 2 a.m. 2 a.m.
Yeah, and then Sancho. God. But even Sancho, like I'm with Saeed. Like I feel bad for him because. And this is what I was going to say. It's like I keep saying on every one of these streams with you, Adam, it's systemic. So let's look at Ragnick or Sancho or some of these guys, Ronaldo, who have an elite mentality, who come in, who want to play really attractive football and win convincingly. Then you have everybody else who's just sort of there for the wages and everything. Then you have the hierarchy, which is like the director of football, the Fletchers. And again, it just seems like the club's general stance is focus on social media and the brand. And so these guys are sitting there going, okay, well, what about the football? Like Sancho, he might be like, I am not developing right now. I'm getting worse. That's not good for me. Like I want to play better, but I can't because everyone else around me, I'm playing with 10 other individuals, we'll say, not as a team, where Rashford's worried about whatever. Greenwood's worried about whatever. Maguire's worried about whatever. Bruno's trying to play, but he might be worried about something. Cavani's got 1 foot out the door. Donny's not even playing. Like, there's absolutely no unity in this team where every other team, and let's just use, again, City and Liverpool right now because they're the top of the table and they have been consistently. There's none of this shit going on at those clubs. It's ridiculous. You don't hear any of this drama. You don't hear this nonsense. Even remember, like, I think it was last year, even when Mane and Klopp had that little spat where it looked like Mane was pissed off at him for subbing him off.
Yeah,
that was quelled immediately. You didn't hear any more about it. It was done. And so it just seems like we just have this, we are so unfocused right now that, again, I feel really bad. I do feel for the players to some extent, but then I also don't for others because it's very clear that they're there selfishly. But until someone just literally sits everyone down and, like we've been saying, either tells the people that don't want to be here, get out, or the people who don't have the right mentality, you will not play. And when I say you will not play, that means you're not even making the bench. I would rather bring up youth and sit them and have the likes of Hannibal and Shola Shoretire and Elanga and everyone else filling out my bench. And you can go sit at home or do whatever, but you're not part of this club. And you have to start that with the right, like we keep saying, with the right mentality. And anyone who doesn't fit it, I understand. Oh, but let's just say for argument's sake, it was Bruno. Just for argument's sake. We know it's not, but let's just say it was. I understand he's a fan favorite. I understand he's done a lot. But if he's going to be a problem, then he has to go. He just does. Because otherwise, you're never going to be consistent because you're always going to have 1 or 2 people in the locker room causing havoc. And you need to have everyone working and marching towards the same goals. Or again, we just like we're saying, heads drop. We're up 2-0. We let in 1. Heads drop. Now we're under the conch again and we can't pick it back up. everyone's getting tired. There's no leaders out there. Now it's 2-2. It's not good. It's not good.
I mean, Said, mate, to epitomise exactly where we're at right now as a football club. I'm going to say this on the United stand later as well and see what everyone thinks about it. But a good sign of where this football team is right now, where your mentality is and where your mind is and where you are as a player. And like what Doug says, if you can't wake up in the morning and look at that table and go, wow, am I playing for United? Am I really playing in this red shirt? I'll go through a list right now, mate. Are you ready for this? Marcus Rashford. Didn't cost us anything, but market value, 50+ million, I would say. When he's on fire, obviously he's going through a bad patch now.
Yeah.
Tony Martial, we bought him. Could have gone up to 50 million. Yeah. Jadon Sancho, 75 million. Harry Maguire, 80 million. Wan-Bissaka, 50 million. Luke Shaw, Luke Shaw, back in the day, he's worth his bit now.
Yeah.
Tell me one thing, mate. How many of them are playing consistent? And I'll bring in Jesse Lingard into this as well right now, and Donny van der Beek into this right now. Yeah. How many of them players are playing consistent international football for their countries? Yeah. None of them. How much money has been spent on them players? How many of them players are apparently top-notch, world-class? As a player, as a man, never mind a player, never mind a professional footballer, as a man, this is your job. And you're not even in your international team. Yeah. While you've come to United, your international career has gone down the Swanee. Now, as a man, you can actually step up and say, you know what, I need to change here. I need to get behind this manager, whoever's in charge, and listen rather than moan, because I don't know what or how much more it's going to take for these players to realise that they're underperforming and they're not putting in the right work. You could add Greenwood to that list. You could add anyone. The only players that I can think of that are definitely getting their international time is what? Ronaldo, Bruno, Varane when he's fit. David De Gea doesn't even get in the Spanish team now. But
that's what I was going to say. I was going to say that one as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a weird one. I mean, he has been our best player, and I'm going to leave David De Gea out of this completely because he's been the one man who's earned his wage this season. I can't deny that. But
absolutely,
all of them players 2 years ago, mate, 100% guaranteed international starters. Lo and behold, time at United, wearing that red shirt, it's disappeared. So where are their players at, mate? Are they thinking wages? Are they thinking they've made it? Are they thinking they're all right? Because if I was them, I'd be thinking, my mates are going off on international duty while I'm playing PlayStation at home, thinking about who I'm going to bring in the January transfer window on my game. I mean, where are the players? I mean, it's an absolute joke, mate. That list is unreal.
No, 100%, mate. It's an indictment of how bad United have been. You know what I mean? When you're looking at Fergie's time, you know, everyone was top internationals and playing, you know, for top clubs, you know, for top.
I don't fear international break anymore, mate.
I know, 100%.
I used to hate it.
100%, mate. And that's just the bottom, like, you know, kind of reality of United in a minute. Is that, you know, you would say that, you know, the top players that at United, especially at United, forget other clubs that are below us and, you know, maybe not have the standards that we've got, but our players should be playing at international football. And if they're not, then it is a reality check of where our players are now. Because, you know, more than ever now, if you're playing 2 or 3 games consistently, you get to go in the English squad or, you know, other squads. You go in there. That's just how international football is now. And they've not been in there for a while, you know, and that is just the bottom line. Most of these players are not developed. You know, if you're looking at Greenwood right now, you know, when was the last time he was in the English squad? You know, like, okay, that thing.
Overfolding on the night out.
Well, there you go, then, exactly. You know what I mean? But there's for me, this is a systemic problem at my United Football Club. And, you know, you can say, Adam, you know, how do these players, you know, look at themselves? The thing is, they're not looking at themselves. There's no self-reflection. It's a case of, well, we're going to get another opportunity, United. We'll be given a new contract. If we want a contract, we're going to go get one. If we want to play next game, we're going to go get one because we're the captain or we're the favourites at United. We're just always going to find a way. And, you know, I'm not trying to say certain people, but I look at Darren Fletcher still being there, Mickey Phelan. It's like, hold on a minute, Midfield, you were part of this problem. But then it's like, no. We need someone to look after Ralph Rangnick and let him know where the toilet is and the canteen and, you know, certain things like that. And it's like, there's a whole kind of...
Put a yellow vest on him, mate.
Well, there you go, exactly. And it's like, yeah, get the young boots or whatever. You know, and it's like, it's almost a feeling of, you know, let's kind of micromanage these players and put them in a cotton wool. And it's like, yeah, let's bubble wrap them. But we don't have that menace feeling that Man City do, where it's like, you want to go? Go. You're not good enough. We're selling you. You. Even if it's top talent, the Metro, you know, they've sold the Metro, they've sold players even from the youth academy, and they'd be like, you know what? You're going. And that's just the reality of where we're at right now. Man City won't go. Man City were linked with Fred, they said no. Maguire said no. Alexis Sanchez, they said no. All these players that United were linked with, they said no. But United went and said, oh, no, we need to be the club that, you know, they come to us. They come to us because we're United. But they didn't think about the problem of, you know what, how they're going to fit into the squad. Oh, you're stopping the growth of this player, or you're stopping, you know, it's, you know, and that's the problem. We're playing like FIFA. That's what you do on FIFA. Grab every single player because you want them, you know?
Yeah, it's like opening, I mean, I don't know enough about FIFA, but I'm guessing it's like opening up one of them packs.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
To get a pack, you might pack Ronaldo gold, whatever it is, Doug, mate. I'm like, I'd never known, and I was thinking about this players, and I've never known a United squad with so little international players in it. I mean, they can all say they're internationals, mate, but I guarantee when March comes around, half of our squad ain't getting picked, mate. Now that is an indictment. So that says everything, mate.
No. Well, I mean, it's what I was going to bring up even earlier when you guys were talking about even Champions League and that. It's like, I think the mentality here has been just get into the Champions League. It's not aspirations to win the Champions League. It's just make it. So once you make it, expectations sort of from a club's perspective go out the door. It's like, hey, you guys don't make it out of the group stage? That's okay. Like, let's pretend we didn't have Ronaldo. We didn't make it out of the group stage this year. It's like, oh, guys, it's okay, though. You still made it. You made the Champions League. And if you finish top 4 again, you'll make it again. It's not to say you guys bombed out of the group stages. Yeah, you guys are. This is devastating. You guys aren't good enough. It's, oh, you made it. You did it, guys. And you'll try again. You'll try harder. And it's just so stupid. And like, I honest to God, like, everybody keeps joking that like Roy Keane should go in there and kick everyone's ass. Like, I'm not opposed to it. If he literally could go in there and just from the Glazers to everyone, no holds bar, just shell everyone in there and just let everyone have it, I would be all about it.
This is it, Doug, yeah? This is where I said before my stance is I'm actually happy that this is going down in a way. Deep down, I'm thinking I'm not going anywhere.
You're not losing out.
I'm going to be a supporter for life. And if you said to me we are going to go through some serious pain right now and some real unrest, but in the long run, it's for the better of the club, I'd be like, bring it on. I've seen enough already. I mean, yesterday when that ball went in from Coutinho, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gutted that we threw that away because I thought we played all right. But deep down, I knew that after that goal went in, we'd get a shitstorm coming our way again. I'm just like, why? Why? It wasn't a bad game. But because of everything that's going on before that, it's made it 20 times worse when it really, really shouldn't, Doug, mate. And this is the problem. It's like one little thing for this club going wrong or something not going how it should escalates into a massive worldwide story right now. And that's because the club have let that happen, Doug.
That's what I'm trying to say about top 4, you know.
Don't forget, this was the run of games that we were looking at the schedule list going, oh, this is our opportunity to close the gap on some of these teams.
Oh, gosh, don't tell me about
we can't even get out of
the I said we win all our games. I said it on the match vlog. I said we win all our games. We're 3 points behind Super Chelsea. You know what I mean? And they've lost a couple as well since. That's how bad this top 4 is. It's like nobody wants it, and then at the end, everyone scatters for it. So I get where Adam's coming from. That bit where United scatter for it, and we almost give United top 4. And this sounds weird when we're saying it because we're United fans. But we're giving them the 100 million, And it's like, yeah, man, we're in the Champions League. Everyone get excited. Champions League nights. Woo. You know, they take the money off you. But nobody's going to come to Europa League, by the way. So that's another thing, because I'm not coming to Europa League. So I'm definitely withdrawing from Europa League. So you know what? The Glazers don't take their money. And you know what? You know, we're not in the Champions League because at the end of the day, right? I want to see cups for me. A lot of people are going to go mad at me, yeah. But I'm tired of just going to the Champions League every year and whatnot, and we dismiss the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. I want to win them cups, mate. Mentality, winning trophies is what every fan should be thinking about. Not Champions League football, where we're in it just because we want to give the money to the Glazers to say, oh, 100 million. There we go. Dividends. Right, we'll pay that dividends now.
Yeah.
You know, you're just, you know.
Do you know what the club's going to say this weekend, Doug, mate? Going back to it. They're going to say, great weekend. Manchester United actually closed the gap on Chelsea, West Ham, Spurs and Arsenal all in one day, mate. That's what the club will say. It's a massive cover-up, mate, because that's what this weekend panned out like. And it just goes to show, if we'd have just held our nerve and had the right mentality, this weekend could have actually been a very, very good weekend for the top four fight. But again,
I mean, this is the same club that, like I said earlier, put out a tweet that it was Donnie's 50th appearance, and I think he's averaged 1 minute in each of those 50 appearances. So, congratulations to him. It's like,
yeah,
I've played 50 games and I have 50 minutes total played for Manchester United. I love it. That's good.
Can I respond to the message? Big up to Killis, by the way. He's asked there, if we're not in the Champions League, we won't get the top players. I think at this football club, you know, as much as we're thinking about top players,
top player, mate.
Yeah, like we've bought top players, and is it still working? We bought Mourinho, is it still working? We need to just have a systemic way of thinking where, you know what, right, that player fits in what we're trying to do here. We bring a bit of youth players in through, and then we have a clear identity. I laugh at Arsenal. Okay, they spend money, but they've got a young group of players right now, and they're learning under Arteta, and they have a way of playing, and they want to do what they want to do. He stuck out Aubameyang, a big name that they've got on a big contract, and said, no, we don't want that in our squad. I think right now United need to reset and find a way of doing it, and you know, and stick to that. Look at Ajax, what they do. You know, they're in the Champions League every year. They're competing for their league title. Okay, the competition isn't all there, but they know what they're doing and they stick to it. We're just buying players like FIFA, and then there's no chemistry, there's no identity to what we're trying to do.
But that goes back to what I was saying. It's like unless I honestly think it's like unless the supporters worldwide, and especially the group in Manchester, even though as you guys know, they were trying to like make it seem like there's a more global fan base or whatever the nonsense was that they were trying to appeal to. It's like there has to be serious ramifications that the club understands. Like when the Liverpool match got called off, that was a huge wake-up call, obviously. And then everything else that was going on in social media, and Gary Neville was even trying to help out with some stuff. It's like that all should have never stopped, because I agree with Saeed and I agree with Adam. But the problem is we can talk about wanting to see this, but with the Glazers and then their stupidity in terms of decision-making with keeping Woodward in charge and now Richard Arnold, who is still part of the club, and then they still have people like Fletcher around, and then who knows what they're going to end up doing with Ragnick. Like, until there is like massive, massive changes behind the scenes, we could sit around and talk about players, but it really doesn't matter, because ultimately the players are being brought in by who? Everyone we just mentioned. So, and they're giving wages by who? Everyone we just mentioned. So I understand what you're saying, like if we don't make Champions League, we're not going to get top talent. Even if we did, we'd still be in the same mess, because we have the same people making the same decisions, and it's over and over.
That's what I'm trying to say, Doug. You know, coming out of the Champions League, it then would create a feeling of, right, you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, right, we've lost money, we've lost this, we've lost that, we've done this. You know what? Maybe we need to change our way of doing things now. We can't look to buy big players anymore that we just buy for the sake of the name's sake. We look and we identify, strategize, and do it properly.
Well, this is it. This is it. I personally, you know what? If they said to me,
that's a good
and I'd
point,
look at the January transfer window and they said, look, there's no midfielder out there that fits, I'd be like, fair enough. I understand that. I don't want to panic buy and bring another wage in when he's not going to play if he don't fit the manager. I mean, right now I've got Elanga ahead of Sancho, ahead of Greenwood, ahead of Martial, ahead of Lingard. This is a kid who cost us absolutely nothing. These players have to come from one academy somewhere in the planet. Why not invest properly in the structure and the infrastructure of the football club and make our own players instead of going out and buying them after the likes of Birmingham let them go to Dortmund and then we have to pay stupid money. Yeah, why not embed the DNA into the young players and bring them through and tell them that they're going to go through if they perform well enough? I mean, this is why I'm backing Ralph Rangnick, because I've seen what he's done with Elanga. He's come through and he's took his chance and he's rewarded him. And right now, yesterday he was our best forward alongside Bruno. And he's got one of the best strikers that's ever walked the planet in Cavani on the pitch with him there. And he's outshining him.
Well, you brought something up, Adam. I mean, look at Bellingham, right? Like, you talk about players' mentalities and what they're prioritizing. Bellingham was given the full treatment, from my understanding, when he came to Old Trafford to visit. Everything. Fergie was there. Like, everyone was there to go say hi, talk to him about the club's history, whatever. He still decided to go to Borussia Dortmund and play there.
I know.
Yeah. Because his mentality, and this is what we talked about with Sancho. He left City because he wanted to go prioritize his football. He went to Dortmund. He got better. And then he came to us, and like we're talking about, he just has gotten worse, seemingly, over this past 6 months or so. And Bellingham's the same way. Like, I would be concerned if I was him, because even if I did want to come and play for United, because I really did like my visit, but then I went to go play for Dortmund. But now United's back in for me. I'd take it, like we're saying, if I want to play internationally, if I want to develop as a player, if I want to win things, 0 for 3 when it comes to Manchester United right now.
That's it. He said that there on Bellingham. Dortmund actually said to him, look, you won't get the money that you're going to get at Manchester United, but what you will get is first team football, and I guarantee within 2 years you'll get an international call up. Oh, lo and behold, he's England's best central midfielder all of a sudden, and he's on the cusp of nailing it down. That's what Dortmund do.
Look what Gerrard did.
Their business is developing football. Yeah. Now that is the perfect business in football, really. If you're developing the actual business that's making you money, you're making it through that area, through young players, then it is the perfect structure, right? United are so far behind. They've got caught up in what Real Madrid and Barcelona made the mistake of doing by thinking, we got all this money. The revenues are going crazy. Let's just buy instead of relying on our youth systems like Barcelona used to do. It's dried up. Up. I mean, they have got some good players coming through, but not like it used to be. Real Madrid bought Galactico after Galactico, and they disappeared. It doesn't always work. And now we've seen the wage capping system that La Liga have brought in, and completely, I think Spain will probably be the powerhouses that they once was in another 5 years because of this salary cap, because they will start developing properly again.
There you go. Exactly.
I do believe that the structure at the club and the infrastructure is where the money is. If United didn't spend a penny on a new player but started bringing in the younger players and making them, we would go a lot further. We would, because then we would be able to, like you guys said, handpick that one signing, which is going to help these young players, that is perfect to come in. We can take our time and not rushing it. And for me, that's exactly where we need to go. Guys, we're actually done with the show. It's flown by.
Wow, man.
Isn't it fun when
we could talk for another hour or two? It's crazy.
It's mental, isn't it? I need to get a shower and then get ready for another show.
Therapy, man. Therapy.
I am going to be seeing you all on United Stand at 8 o'clock as well. Before we go, Said, mate, just shout out what you're up to this week, mate, and your channel and socials, pal, for everybody.
Yep, Said TV. I'm actually going to do a fan calling show. So if anyone's got their opinion, I'll be going live in about 15 minutes. So, tune in for that one. And, just stick in there, man. Just look after yourself more than anything, you know what I mean? If you've got a hobby or anything like that, stick at that. And, man, don't let Man United ruin your week, man, as much as you love them, man. You know what I mean?
That's it. Doug, I know you're not on socials at the moment, mate.
You can find me here whenever Adam wants me on. That's it. I'm hiding out.
Yeah.
Tell the people how good a weekend you had, though. Was it skiing or
what? No. It was just party weekend. Good weekend all around. Trying to recover. Got more weekend stuff coming up. So lots of plans.
Yeah. Do tune in to the United Stand later, people, as well, because Ricky has said Greenwood and Bruno were absolutely atrocious yesterday. So we're going to have fun on that show and break that one down.
Ricky.
I hope he has a special guest, Dan James, on with him.
Oh, yes.
His grandson.
Can't let you because Leeds won today. But guys, cheers for tuning in as always. Do hit that subscribe button. Give you a follow on the socials as well as these guys as well. Follow Saeed on his channel. Hit the like button on your way out, people. For now, we are out of here. I won't say enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's Monday in a few hours. So hopefully we have a better week. Brentford's coming. Oh, you'll catch me. I've got that trip to take as well this week, everyone. But bye for now, everyone.